you were willing to not make a great income for several years.
Oh my God,
And
yeah.
you just stayed with it. You grinded it out. You just like kept doing it. So many agents give up after like 12 hours, 12 dials, 12 days, 12 months, like, and you just kept sticking with it. Now, 15 years in, you're making, I mean, a significant income for sure. If it's not seven figures, it's freaking dang close, right? Like you've
It's
really,
really close. I'm really close. Yeah.
how awesome is that? Like it's freaking amazing.
It's
It's like,
mind blowing. I'm gonna be
it
honest.
is.
You know how much I wanted to make when I first started? I just wanted to make 60,000
Wow. And
because
then
that's
how
what
long
I
did,
was
okay,
used to. Oh,
how long did that take?
okay. Honestly, like, because I didn't know what I was doing the first year, right? It took me year 3 to get it.
What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins, and today we are bringing back, really due to popular demand, Christina and I have been getting to know each other for years. She's incredible, super impressive, building a big agency. And last time she was on the channel, she said, I got flooded with agents all over the country, um, maybe even outside the country, who knows, that were like, I need help. Please help me. And she does an amazing job with her agency in Texas. So the owner and founder of Perez Financial Group, please welcome back Christina Perez.
Hi. Hi. Thank you for having me again. I'm excited.
Thank you. I'm glad to have you back. I think it's Perez or something. I think I'm pronouncing it a little off, but
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like Paris, but it's Perez.
Perez.
Yeah, Perez. I know.
Ah, that's a little better. I'm giving it the best Missouri, Arkansas I can. Right?
Yeah,
I love it.
I know. And
Um,
people always ask me to, like, when I'll say my name, my name is Christina Perez. They're like, can you spell that? As soon as I spell it, they're like, oh, Perez. I'm like, yeah, okay. We'll roll with that.
exactly. Well, you've been a part of Power Players for a few years. You've been very involved. You're also like incredibly busy. You've got a lot going on. You're also doing a really good job at building an agency, really locally first, and then expanding outside of local. Obviously, we shared your story last time. Maybe for those that haven't heard it, um, I would love for you to share like what has changed over the last year, the last 12 months as you look back. Like I feel like a lot has changed for you in the last 12 months.
Yeah, definitely. I would say, well, joining Power Players, right? That's been going on. This is my second year with Power Players. But
It's
listening
awesome.
prior to that to your podcast and getting involved with that, um, just opened my eyes to more things, what people do on a national level. So
Mm,
it's great, right, to stay local. I do a lot of marketing in the area. I did grow my agency locally, but like anything, you're self-employed, and when you're self-employed, you only know what you know, and so you, until you start going and meeting people, like getting to know you guys and the whole squad, everybody
true.
from your back office to business owners, you start seeing what you're doing good, and you're like, okay, I wasn't so off as I thought I was. Or
Yes.
you just gather some great ideas, okay, from other people, like, I didn't think about that, and I can do it. Being afraid. So another thing, like I mentioned, like being afraid of, before I was only recruiting here locally in Texas, pushing my boundaries. Well, not anymore. Now I'm like, when I started getting calls from the last podcast that we did, at first I was like, well, but then I realized, like, people need help and they connected with
Hmm.
me for some reason, and well, let's help them, because we can do anything. We look at us. We're talking. I don't see you, but I feel like I know you. I mean, I feel like I see you not too long ago. Even, and just because we're reconnecting, and that's what people need. They just need someone to talk to.
Amen. They
Hmm.
do. Yes. And I think that's true for a lot of people around the industry is like that they feel very um, alone. They feel like they're not getting training and support and mentorship, and they're just kind of just signed up, recruited in the industry, and they're not provided any leads or support or like direction. And then they're like, okay, go make some money and do well, which is, I guess it's really why, if everybody did a great job with the other stuff, they may not need me as much, I guess. I don't know. Um, but I mean, was that your experience when you first got in the industry?
Yeah, I definitely didn't. I've been in the business for a little over 15 years, and there was
Wow.
definitely no support back then. But the structure, there was no foundation. But what, like I've mentioned other people, but and it was scary because I wanted to jump ship many times. Like I was like, I'm gonna run to a W-2, like what I know. But what I liked was my freedom, and that
Mhm.
was something I never like. I'm like, I just really, how do I do this business? And I mentioned before, it was an answered prayer, asking God to help me, guide me, find the right people to help me, solutions, because I knew how to work. This girl knows how to work, right? I know how to talk
She
to
did.
people. I know, but I just didn't understand this industry. I didn't even know the language. Let's just be honest. This is the language. And it was full of people that didn't look like me. And what I mean like that is not just women. I mean like young
Mm.
people. I
Correct.
was in my area. I had a lot of older people, latter 60s, right, whiteheads, and mostly men, which are great. Like everybody's willing to help, but I didn't identify, right, and so
Yep. Yep.
that was kind of my experience, what I felt, and I didn't really connect in that sense of like how we learn, how we teach, asking questions.
Yep.
So yeah, for sure, it was weird, but I knew that what I wanted my freedom.
Yeah. I also feel like I feel like you connect better with, in our industry with the younger audience than older, you know what I mean? But you're also younger anyway compared to them, so
It's really depends on the person. I'm going to be honest because I have a mix. I tend to love my clients. I love older. Okay,
correct.
but
Yeah.
people that I work with, I if I look at my tribe, they're the majority are young. You're right. In our
Yeah.
40s, in our 30s, and a few trickles, in their 60s. Believe it or not. But just and then I will say because I'm female, I feel like I do track a lot of ladies as well.
Yes, yes, which is really cool, I love that. I didn't realize I said this a while back, 51% of licensed agents are women. I think it's probably a lot of, like, admins, you don't see them out in the forefront like you are, even though that more should be, for the
Mhm.
record. Would you say I was kinda wondering this earlier, for you've been in the business 15 years, would you say you learned more in the first 13 years or the last 2 years?
Gosh, it took me 3 years to learn the business and to
Yeah.
become successful. I failed a lot in the beginning. So,
Yep.
but in your failure, you're learning, right?
Yeah.
It's just hard when money is why you're failing, right? The lack of money.
Sure.
But it's what makes you hungry also. But I will say, I want to say that probably my most growth has been in the last 5 years.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
And what do you attribute that to? Like, what when you think about it, like, what have you learned the most? Where have you grown the most as an agency owner? What are some of the things that you've picked up the most?
So, number one is as I was growing, so was my upline, and they were just getting better and better and better. And
That's awesome.
yeah, exactly. And so I was just duplicating what my upline was doing, and I had a great connection with my upline, constantly talking. But what started to change for me was when I started doing mental, just going to like Tony Robbins events. That was the
Mhm.
start for me. And
I've
yeah,
never been. I've always wanted to go to one. I've still never been.
you have no idea. I know you've been to Grant
Crazy.
Cardone's. I know you've been to
Oh,
that.
a lot of Cardone events. Yeah. Yeah.
But this is different. This is really truly really different. Lots of insurance agents go, lots of real estate goes, but I
Wow.
started to understand myself better when I started going there. And so confidence, I mean, I've always had confidence, but that was
Yeah.
just deeper. And so when I started going to that, just totally put like I started associating with different types of people, different mentalities. That
Yep.
really helped with what I was doing because in the beginning, you have to understand is I did this by myself for probably 4 or 5 years. No team, nothing, just me, myself, and I. And I was there was times where I'm like this is it, like I'm doing good, but this is it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so and like you said, naturally you start asking, people start, they see success. I remember having lunch with some coworkers, like agents, and they're like, and we're sharing stories, and they're like, you just seem really happy. Like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? And they're telling me I'm chargebacks. They're telling me this, like, just client stories. And I'm like, well, I'm doing Medicare. And the minute I switched from what you guys were doing and I moved to this, money was in the bank. And you know what? When money's
Mm.
in the bank, that changes how you go to show up to work, where you go to work.
Yeah.
So
Amen, it does.
yeah, like absolutely. So you show up different, obviously they saw it. We're having lunch and then I
Yeah.
invite them in and I told them like, "Bro, do you want to do what I do? Like I'll show you because I knew I had a blessing and I'm like, if you guys want to join this, because a lot of agents don't want to do Medicare. They don't want to do Medicare.
Why is that? Why is that?
Well, my experience is that they don't want to do the testing. They don't want to do the certifications because everything else is just a contract in the background.
There's a lot of hoops to jump through for sure
Yeah,
compared to like, hey, your life license goes good.
yeah,
Good job, buddy. Go sell life insurance.
yeah,
Also,
yeah.
too, have you always had? You mentioned confidence earlier. You strike me as someone that has always been extremely confident your entire life. Is that not true?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been that kid. Like my parents told me they were kind of afraid that at 18, I'm like, I want to go backpacking to Europe, and my dad's like, why? And I'm like, because like the other side of the world seems interesting, right? So as far as curiosity and just my head was always wanting to just not do what your typical people did around you. I'm just gonna be
Yeah,
honest. Like most people were about getting married, having kids, and that's beautiful. And I'm going to
yeah,
be honest, I wasn't about marriage and kids. I mean, I was about going to school, get an education, wanting to have my own place, which
mm,
is what I'm living now. And, just having my own money and an independence. I wanted my freedom and my independence and
yeah,
something away from my parents, right? And my parents kind of like they guided me to that, but they were kind of like holding me back because I'm a girl and I'm their kid and but never defiant, just had a lot of ambition in that sense. Like I want to do what
yeah,
you're not doing. So that's kind of where that came from. And my parents, my family, all are entrepreneurs, not in insurance, right? in
yep,
in
yep,
other type of business, we do have entrepreneurial blood all over our family, and grateful for that. But it also scared me away from being an entrepreneur. So when this
mm,
came, it was very scary for me. I wanted the security of a paycheck. But when like I said, I got a taste of his freedom and I'm like, I don't know what I need to do, God, but I need you to help me secure my check so
yeah,
I can do this. And the other thing that I loved about insurance was the client. I love working with senior market. Um,
yeah.
I've always said it. I go to work working with grandma and grandpa.
Ah, that's right.
Cool. It's very cool. If you have patience, like some people have patience for kids, right? They want to be
Yeah.
teachers. Well, I'm a teacher. I'm just a teacher for adults in insurance.
Mm,
And so that's where my love is. And so that's why it just made sense that I wanted to stay in this industry and to
yeah.
teach others, right? Because I know the struggle. I'm sure you know the struggle. It wasn't easy. It took me 3 years before I said, wow, I make a living off of this.
Wow.
Yes.
Did you ever do the backpacking in Europe like you talked about
No,
earlier?
I didn't. My parents held me back, and
Okay.
I'm a good kid.
Yeah.
I just listened.
So,
But 25, at the age of 25, I graduated college and I gave myself the gift of I'm going 28 days to Europe.
whoa. So, Lauren and I leave for Europe, and our flight takes off in under 3 hours.
No ways. I'm so excited for you. Where are you going?
We're going to London to see Taylor Swift.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Crazy. And then we're gonna stay there for we'll be there a total of like 8, 9 days. Yeah. So, but
Okay.
we've never been.
Okay.
I've got later after this. I'm going home to pack and pick her up and head to the airport.
I
Like I got
love
home at like 10 or 11 o'clock last night.
So
So
are you going to stay in London or are you going to venture out of London?
just London, and then
Okay.
we got to go back at some point. Yeah,
You
yeah.
definitely need to. I took a 20-day trip and it was like Paris first, then down to Italy, down and then up to like Switzerland, Sweden.
Wow.
At the last place that we went, I know it was cool. It was during the holidays. I spent Christmas in Germany. And I took my one favorite person. I took my mom. And I said, "Come on, mom,
Oh,
let's
that's great.
go." Because I don't know when we're going to get, we were both like, I had just finished school. So I didn't take a job right away because I'm like, no one's going to give me a month off, right?
Yeah.
And my mom was in between jobs, and I was like, "Let's go, mom. Let's just go party and let's go see the other side of the world." And I kept going, and I kept telling my mom, "Like, you want to come? You want to come?" I kept going. I mean, I've been to because of this job, this career that I have, this business that
Hmm.
I've been all over the place in Europe. So that's a lot of fun.
Wow. What else have you learned? Like also too, when I'm just talking to you, I'm curious if you guys pick up on this when you watch this. Let me know in comments below. You're just full of life, have a lot of energy.
Mhm.
Um, and like there's never a dull moment. Like I love hanging out with you. This is great, seriously.
You.
If you
Yeah,
guys are picking up in the camera, let us know.
yeah.
What else have you learned as far as like these last 5 years?
I've well, joining with you guys opened my eyes to, like I've mentioned before. You said it in one of your many meetings. When you do LOA, that changes like your income. Absolutely, that totally changed the game
Mm,
here. Like my income just doubled. I'm replacing myself, and I'm in the process of adding two more LOAs. I see the future in that. I highly encourage all my agency managers, right? Like, because we built up other agencies. Like, I'm not just the one that's going to be an agent manager. If you want to be an agency, we're going to help you. And so, from yeah, you've got to share, like, and it's up to them if they're going to do it, right? Let's just be honest.
yeah, yeah,
But we like making sure the things that I grew, that I needed structure in my business. So having a CFO, right? I have a CFO, getting definitely getting good staff to help you. Like one of the first things that everybody should do if you're going to be successful is you need a really good assistant to help
mm-hmm.
you manage your life, manage your clients, customer service. And
At
I'm
what point? At what point should you get an assistant?
I
You think?
say you need an assistant by, if like Medicare enrollments, by at least 75 clients. You
Wow.
have 75 clients, you shouldn't be doing any of your own customer service. You should have a customer service slash assistant working, taking care of all your clients, so that you are always, guess what, in front of the next client, helping that next client, and that person is in the back end helping you. So
It
that's
is the
right
name
there.
of the game.
Detrimental is get an assistant, whether it's a virtual assistant. I know we've talked about that in our
Yeah,
own meetings.
yeah,
But a personal assistant really makes a difference in your life, because our job is to go and meet new people, be out in the community, and you need someone in the office that loves to do this, helping you grow your business.
yes, yes.
That's
It's
the first.
wild too. Yeah, that's a great first step. That's really good advice because you think about it too. It's weird because like you start out in insurance and you do everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then you want to eventually staff up a little and graduate to just like prospecting and selling. And then after that, you sell so, especially on the Medicare side, you sell so much that then you're like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to keep up? I need more staff, or I need more sales reps. And then you eventually add so many sales reps that you almost end up out of production at some point. You know what I mean? It's like, it's this weird evolution of like these different phases of being a business
You
owner.
start branching out in different ways and growing. And every level I feel has its own challenges, right? Like you've got your
Yeah.
pros, that things are going good, overrides, oh great, and you see people growing, and you're like, man, that's awesome. I'm so happy. I'm so proud for you, right? But then there's the level of like, okay, your staff, like your foundation, right? Like think about you and your 8% and everything you do, Cody Askins, like all the behind the scene things that are so important. That part is
Mm-hmm.
scary for about a lot of agents. You have to understand, we like I have that fuzzy, right? More money I make, more taxes I pay.
Hmm.
And that holds you back. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest.
it does.
But why does it hold you back? Let's be honest. Because you may not have the staff behind you to help you grow it. That's it.
Correct.
I didn't
That's
have
all.
a
That's it.
CPA for a long time. I went I some of the mistakes that I make, and I don't care. I'll tell people. I think by year 4, I fell behind on taxes for like 2 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And then I hired someone that had excellent experience, and she was like a mom to me, and which her name is Martha, and I remember she was like a mom to me. She had like the real stern CPA type of, and but she got me, and I told her, look, this is all my problems, and this is what I need help, and she just loved me, and she's like, I'm gonna help you,
Cool.
and she got me up to speed, and she just and it was that start, that investment, and I'm like, and what do and I had to pay her well, because her
Yeah.
experience is what got me where I'm at. I mean, you just learn, you're gonna make mistakes, but
Mm-hmm.
if you talk to people like me, like my brother, like people that have been, I'm like, we're gonna tell you, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do that. Like there's steps to everything. But those things give you fear as in, because you're not taught to do all those things. Like you know how to
Yep.
sell, you know how to get your next client, but who's going to help you with your taxes? Who's going to help you with your paperwork, your customer service?
Correct.
You just can't be good at all that, so you have to hire.
Yeah. You also that's incredible advice that you're sharing. You also talk about how you're like you were willing to not make a great income for several years.
Oh my god,
And
yes.
you just stayed with it. You grinded it out. You just like kept doing it. so many agents give up after like 12 hours, 12 dials, 12 days, 12 months, like, and you just kept sticking with it. Now, 15 years in, you're making, I mean, a significant income for sure. If it's not seven figures, it's freaking dang close, right? Like you've
It's
really,
really close. I'm really close. Yeah.
how awesome is that? Like, it's freaking amazing.
It's
It's like,
mind blowing. I'm gonna be
it
honest.
is.
You know how much I wanted to make when I first started? I just wanted to make 60,000
Wow. And
because
then
that's
how
what
long
I
did,
was
okay,
used to. Oh,
how long did that take?
okay. Honestly, like, because I didn't know what I was doing the first year, right? It took me year 3 to get it. But I did, and I'm going to tell you, this one's honest truth because I shared it with everybody. Um, I did it in one company that did direct deposit with 70 grand for my residual money for one company. And at the time, I think I had 5 companies pay me. And just one
Wow.
company paid me one drop of 70,000. And I was like, screenshot, send that to my brother because I was trying to recruit him into the business. And I'm like, you need to see, this is what you need to see. This is what I'm making. Like, but it took 3 years before I could get that. Right. And
Right.
whatever I was selling for the year. But man, the first 2 years, I was on a budget. I had no new car, ramen noodles, so to speak, and I wasn't going to like trips. I was
Hmm.
penny pinching galore because it took time. It took time, right? To know my product, know my client,
Yeah.
to get better. That's
What
it.
so what advice would you give to somebody that's like super impatient? They're thinking about quitting and they're not giving it the time that you were.
Huh. Well, you're not gonna make it. I mean, if you're gonna be impatient, I mean, you're gonna bitch. Let's be honest. If you're gonna do that, this isn't for you because this is a legit career business. Okay.
Mm.
I mean, this is. It's not like just
They
a.
don't treat it like that either.
Okay, so that's another thing. Let's talk about that. I didn't have the business mindset. Like I had an employee mindset. I did not
Mm.
have a business. Even though I own my business, I didn't feel like I own my business. So that's an identity issue too. So I had to change that. I had to learn, and that took me years to accept that I was a business owner.
Yep.
Hmm.
You're having to reframe all that, it makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Especially,
think it's because we're not as successful in the beginning, so you don't feel like you're legit.
do you
Hmm.
feel like almost like a imposter or like a fraud
Not
or like,
an imposter.
okay.
For me, we've been, all of us have been hit with so many multi-level marketing companies out there that
Yeah.
I felt like it was in the beginning. I thought it was like that. Like I was selling Mary Kay. I was selling some nutritional
God.
company, or jewelry, and nothing to those things, right? They exist. They make money for people, but this is a career. That is
Right.
not. That is a side little hustle. And so in the beginning, because I was exposed to those type of money making businesses,
Mm-hmm.
I felt that maybe this was going to be that another
Mm.
health product, another, I don't know, like what is it, like weight loss thing or whatnot. And,
Sure, sure.
but I would always see that money wasn't really left after. You'd go do a bunch of hustle, you'd get a bunch of people involved, parties and whatnot, but there wasn't really a lot of money left over to really make that a career.
Yeah.
And so at first I thought it was that because
Mm.
I knew no one in this industry. My family did not do this. My friends, my family, no one I knew. I didn't know anybody that did insurance other than the person that recruited me, which was my ex-boyfriend's dad, which was my upline, my direct upline. And even when I didn't really know what he did. Right? It was weird. So for me, I just saw it as I'm selling Avon.
Ah, got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, this has been unbelievable. We could talk for hours. You do such a good job. If they want to learn more and speak to you,
Hmm.
what should they do or where should they go?
They should hit me up on Facebook, Christina Perez from South Texas, McAllen, Texas. Look me up, shoot me a message. I'd love to chat. Ask me any questions. I'm here to help.
I love it. You're incredible, Christina. Thanks for coming back on the channel.
All right, thanks, Cody. See you
Okay,
later.
huge thank you to Christina. Also, thank you guys for hanging out and listening. We appreciate you being a part of the Power Player podcast. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Adios.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're gonna love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there.
I'm so excited for today's CA Power Player podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. We got a special guest. He is back on the channel talking about how to sell life insurance from home. Here's what I love about this person. Okay, I'm telling you, this will be one of the best.